If you're watching this, you're probably a teenager right now playing video games all day, every day, having fun with your friends, leveling up, grinding for that next achievement. But what if I told you that this habit can hurt your body more long-term than almost anything else? You're probably surprised, right? You'd think games are harmless. It's just a game, it's just entertainment, but this can lead to serious health issues, mobility problems, and way less quality of life later on. I get it. I was the exact same kid as you during my entire childhood. I played Fortnite, Minecraft, Call of Duty, and way more, all day, every day. It was super fun in the moment and created amazing memories along the way, but during all these years, it damaged my body in a way that I hope no one else deals with, which led to two serious injuries, one being a metatarsal stress fracture and the other being a knee tear. In this video, I'll break down everything leading up to those injuries, the injuries themselves caused by my gaming addiction, the recovery process, where I am now, and what you should and shouldn't do. Let's get into this. Everything started when I was just 6 years old. This is how I got introduced to gaming. It was my older brother. I was in his room. I had nothing else to do. I was freaking bored, right? And then all of a sudden I saw him, using this controller, playing on a TV, and I saw him play NBA 2K15. I also saw him play Grand Theft Auto and Destiny. Those were the games that I remember him playing the most. And when I saw those games, it just looked so fun. Like he was playing with his friends. He had his headset on, like one of the old Xbox headsets. It was just so badly made, and he was just doing that. He was having fun. He was talking with his friends, and I was like wanting to do the same thing. I was like wanting to get my own Xbox. I didn't have any Xbox at the time. All I had was just a freaking tablet. So then, guess what? A few months after that, I ended up getting an Xbox 360. The game that I got first was Minecraft and Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare. Those games were the ones I got first, and I'll tell you something right away. I got hooked immediately with those games. I don't know what it was. I don't know what drug was in those games, but I got hooked immediately. I started just doing my own thing more. I started playing my own games. Now, this was the period when Roblox came out on Xbox, and then that came out in early 2016, and I just got hooked on that. So then that was happening for a year, just playing my own thing. All of a sudden, next year, it was like the end of 4th grade. I met these two kids that were friends, and I started playing with them. We played Roblox primarily in Minecraft, and that just spawned in a whole new thing. Before that, all I really played with was my brother, really. It was only him and maybe by myself, But now I got school kids playing with me, and now this opened up a whole new door to more fun and more gaming and more addiction and more whatever. So I did that. And I'll tell you this, it lasted for about 3 years of just constantly playing with people. Once Fortnite came out in late 2017, that just changed the entire thing for me. I mean, it changed the entire thing for everyone, probably you. Everyone played Fortnite in 2018, and that's all I played. I have literally 100-something days of game time, all within the first 3 years of playing. Ever since 2020, I've never really played it that much, but that was crazy. I got so addicted, and here's what I think made the most damage. This period right here, because I never got into a game as much as Fortnite, and for 3 years straight, I was hooked on it. And guess what was happening? I was laying there, always on the bed. That's how I used to play, playing games all the time. I was laying on that bed. And guess what? During these 3 years, this is the hidden damage I was having on my body. It caused weaker glute activation. I had weaker glutes. It caused tight hip flexors, and it made my knee misaligned, because when your glutes are weak and you got weak hips, the knee has to compensate. It has to compensate somehow. Your knee gets more of the burden. So then it started the knee had to do more work. So it started turning outwards, and then it made my feet duck. If you don't know what duck feet is, I'll show a picture right here. It's when both feet turn outward. And this is very common. This isn't really, and it's common probably because a lot of people play a lot of video games, a lot of people are inactive, but just a lot of fatter people have this as well. I think it's just all the weight, because, they're fat for a reason, right? Probably because of video games and a lot of food and activity, but duck feet is just annoying to me. I still have it to this day, by the way, but I'll make a short about this soon, about duck feet, because I think it's kind of annoying, but I've always wanted to fix it, but I never got to. So after 2020, right, it just kind of Fortnite fell off, and I just started playing random games. But here's what changed everything. This is when I finally got up from my ass from all the video games. This is when ninth grade hit, high school hit. Of course, high school is a time where you develop and you mature and you want to do different things, right? You're definitely not an adult, but you're definitely not a kid either anymore. You're now 14, 15, you're entering high school. Puberty has hit for most people at this point, and you want to try different things. So this is exactly what happened. This is what changed everything. So it was the fall of ninth grade, right? Then all of a sudden, it was like a random day in school, right? An email got sent out where they were basically creating a new club, which is a boys indoor track team. Now, I never knew what track was. A friend came up to me and was like, I was thinking maybe we should like do something, maybe join a sport. There's track that's available. You should join indoor track, indoor track could be fun, whatever. And I'm like, what the hell, track? What is track even all about? And then they mentioned, oh, it's just, you run, you can do sprints, it's fun, it's indoor, it's free, it's this and that. All these other friends are doing it. And that's obviously a common way to convince someone to do something is if other people are doing it, right? So I, kind of bought into it already just from that. And I looked into it and I'm like, well, I see all these other kids doing sports, it's free. I haven't really tried it. Let's give it a go. So then track started, right? It was the first day. I remember on my first day of track, I was wearing freaking jeans, which was stupid. But I was, doing whatever. I listened to the coaches and we just did like the warm up laps and some stretches and just normal stuff. At this point, I wasn't really fat because I lost a lot of weight from the year before just by starving myself, which I will never recommend someone doing, especially at 13, 14. But I was fat from the video games. It really messed me up. It made me inactive, but I didn't know it at the time. But all of a sudden, a day came during the first week of practice where, they were doing some certain stretch moves, and one of them was touching your toe, standing up and then just bending down and trying to touch your toe. And this was what changed everything. The exact moment that changed everything because I couldn't do it. I saw all these other kids do it, right? They were able to bend down and touch their toes. But my ass couldn't even do it. Why? Why couldn't I do it? And it pissed me off. I saw these other kids, and they were even making fun of me. They're like, oh, you can't even bend down and touch your toes. And I was too scared to tell the coach about that. So I had to deal with it, right? But, I was doing that for a couple weeks, just trying out different stuff. I ended up going to be a sprinter because that's just how, I guess that's what I was better at the time. But for some reason, after 2 weeks of doing this, exactly, it kind of I got really sick. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was the weather or if it was just adapting to a new load of stress, which is running, because I never really did a sport prior. It would only be like recess, just playing some bullshit football, nothing too serious. But I got sick, and then after that, I recovered. So then I started getting kind of competitive into track. I ended up getting running shoes. I just went to meets, and it was kind of fun. All these. This is when the track team was like at its peak because there was so many kids, and the meets are really fun. It was towards the end of the indoor season now, and I knew that spring track the coaches obviously kept hammering, oh, you guys should join spring track. That's the next thing. If you want to keep up your running, that's the next sport to get into. But I'm like, man, I already started this now. Like, I'm not the worst on the team. I'm also not the best. I was kind of in the mid tier, and everyone was kind of goofing on my form when I ran during the practices. I don't know. I mean, I knew where they were coming from, but I couldn't really figure out how to fix it, right? So I signed up for outdoor track now. It was March. Now, outdoor track was always been a thing. Indoor track was the thing that became a club because, it was inactive after so many years. But outdoor track, that was always a thing. Like, this is now varsity. This ain't just JV anymore, junior varsity. This is varsity level stuff. So now outdoor came and it was a whole different vibe because the whole like the meets are outside now and people seem more competitive because when you start something, everyone kind of sucks at it. It's fun. It's kind of like Fortnite when everyone sucked at building, but everyone sucked at running. It was fun. But then after a few months of training, people started to get a little more competitive with each other. Races, one-on-ones, whatever. And that's when I got spikes. And I knew it made you faster. Everyone started getting them, and they started running faster. I don't think it was just me seeing things. I actually thought they were faster. So I got spikes, and when I put them on for the first time, it was freaking like, whoa. I never wore any type of like competitive cleat of some sort. And when I put them on, I'm like, holy shit, this is very lightweight and thin. There's no real sole at the bottom. Just little spikes on the bottom of your cleat. It's like so weird. And I ran, and I did feel faster. It was crazy. And when I went to the first meet, I got a PR, and it felt great. But this is when shit got this is when the first injury was about to start. So there were meets on top of meets. That was one of the things I complained about, even with the indoor. It was just, I liked doing it, but there were kind of too many meets. Now, with outdoor, there were even more meets. So I had to kind of like adjust to that as well, and I got spikes. And I was doing sprinting, right? But I was also getting introduced to javelin now, and still doing shot put, which in my opinion was too much. I was doing like all these different things, and I did this meet, and then 2 days later was this meet, and then 4 days later was this, and then 2 days after that, and then guess what? By the time the last meet out of those 4 in a row came, I was already so gassed, and I ended up getting a message from the coach in the group chat saying that I was in 5 events. 5 events. I was in the 200. I was in the 100. I was doing javelin. I was doing shot put and the 400. So I was doing 3 sprints and 2 throwing things. And I knew it was a lot, but I didn't want to be that pussy, You know how it is, like when you're doing sports with all these other kids, and you want to be good and stuff. You don't want to seem like kind of a wuss for backing out of certain things, and you always think you can handle it. You can handle it. So I just went with it. It was kind of like a red flag already to me. But I still did it anyway. Um, so then I ran. I don't even know what events were first, but it was one of the sprint events. Or no, I think I did a throwing event first. That went okay. But then once the 200 came, or the 400, I'm not sure which one. Once that came around, I was trying to run. I was running as fast as I freaking could, and guess what? Bam! A metatarsal stress fracture happened right in my left foot. I can't bring the foot up now because of my current injury in my knee, stopping me from bringing my foot up to the camera. So I'll just do with this. It was basically right here. Pretend this is the left foot. The stress fracture happened right in this part of the foot inside. And it was insane. I didn't even know what it was, but it hurt like a goddamn motherfucker. It was a sharp pain, and once I finished the race, I was kind of hopping around. I'm like, what is this? I should have complained to them saying that, oh, it was too many, meets. No, too many events. But I didn't say that. I don't think I thought of it, or I was too scared, one or the other. So then, I went home, and I was obviously annoyed. But guess what? Guess freaking what? There was another meet 2 days after that. And I knew I wasn't in good shape. But guess what? My dumbass still fucking went. Why? Why did I go to the freaking meet? I recommend this to you. If you're going to go to a meet, or if you're going to have a sport game, don't do it if you're injured. There's a reason so many of the top football players in the NFL, they're all out for injuries. They know their bodies enough. They've been through this so many times. When they're injured, they're going to rest. They're going to take the games out. They're going to do what the fuck they need to do, because their body is more important than just doing this game. And I know the game is their life, but safety comes first. You do not want a lifelong injury. You would rather have, to take a few weeks out to deal with an injury versus trying to push through and having a lifelong injury. So I went anyway, and it was a 200. Once the first event came around, this was a smaller kind of meet. Like, it wasn't, we were only going against one other school, or two other, no, we were only going against 2 other schools at this meet. And I didn't do any throwing. So it was a 200, and I remember just getting on the starting blocks and already feeling some bullshit in my left foot because of the stress fracture. And once they said start, I tried running. I tried running as fast as I could, didn't run as fast. And then once I ended, I'm like, fuck this. I'm out. I'm not doing this. I can't do it. So then at that point, I already kind of like researched like what this injury was, and I already had a feeling it was a stress fracture. I didn't know 100%. So, I said to the coach once that race ended, like, I think I have a foot fracture, a fracture. And they were like, oh, wait, really? They didn't really believe me. They didn't really know. But I had to really kind of share it to them enough times for them to be like, okay, yeah, okay, you can't do it. At that point, I couldn't even go to the practices now. So I had to take, time off of track. And as the days went on, I ended up freaking like just not being able to go, and days are going by, and then the coaches messaged me and they're like, "Oh, any updates? What's going on? You've been out for a little bit." And I'm like, "Yeah, this is getting crazy. I'm gonna go to the doctors and get this sorted out because this is too much pain for a long period of time, too much for me. It's a little abnormal." So then I went to the doctor, and then I got an MRI, and guess what? There was a fracture in the bone. There was a little tear, like crack. I saw it. Oh, still vision it's bad. But then that's when the boot came on. Now, if you've been in high school, you've probably seen at least one kid wearing a boot on one foot. The big gray boots that go up to like almost to your knee, and they're hopping around, and it's because they've had something to do with their foot. It's their foot fracture. That's what caused it. So then I had to get that. And then once the guy gave it to me, he's like, "Oh, you got to wear it for like 1 month when you go to school. You got to let the teachers know that you have that so you can leave class early, so you don't get trampled by a bunch of people in the hallways when it's passing time." So I'm like, fuck, my mind. I had to deal with it though. So for the next month of school, which was the last month of school, it was like May and June, the late half of the outdoor track season. I had to take the whole rest of the season out. But the last month of school, I was just hopping around, man, hopping around. It was bad. It was bad. But then it recovered, and now I'm good again. So then what happened? Well, it was cross country season coming around, and yeah, it just didn't really go well. It did not really go well. I went to like one summer practice and I had no endurance. So then I'm like, fuck this. I can't do cross country. And then ever since that, I just stopped running. I don't know. Once that injury happened, that just stopped everything for me. And it was because of prolonged years of video gaming. Since I had a weak foot, I had a weak something. Something in there was weak. The bone was weak and it could not handle all this load. No one else had to deal with it on the track team because they were already athletic beforehand. They already did maybe one sport, or they at least had like this big backyard where they're able to do stuff. But I didn't really have like that kind of backyard at all. I didn't really have any. It was very tiny. So I was never really active. I played video games, and because of all this inactivity, it led to that injury. So that was that. Now the second injury, the one that just fucking happened yesterday. Literally, as I'm recording this injury happened yesterday. And, my whole thing was when I started the gym, I was like fucking 16 or whatever. And for a year and a half straight, I was at Planet Fitness, right? And if you know anything about Planet Fitness, they have only machines there. So you have no choice. They have dumbbells too, but because I was so scared of like, I didn't have any stability. I had no stability. I couldn't balance it right. I just avoided it like a pussy instead of trying to learn it. So I did machines, machines, and machines. Now I saw growth, obviously, and it was basically all hypertrophy. There wasn't really much functional strength or anything translating well to the real world. I did that for a year and a half. And then all of a sudden, I just joined a powerlifting team, club for the school I was in, and it really opened my eyes to a bunch of other ways to lift because they taught the bench squat deadlift, and I was able to get taught that for free because it was a club in my school. So if you have that kind of thing in your school, take advantage of it, especially if you love lifting and you want to learn the bench squat deadlift. Please learn it. I ended up going into that club and I got taught the lifts, and it was just fun. It was a fun fucking time. Way better than track. Track was like, it was like okay, but I didn't really enjoy it. My heart wasn't in it. My heart was in it. So I practiced the lifts for the whole summer. My form wasn't that great. My lifts weren't that great. Like my PR numbers weren't that great. This was the summer that just passed. Like, we literally like, this is the end of summer. Early in the summer I was doing it. But I went to the meet, I did all right. I was one of the kids in the mid pack, if not better, for my weight class especially, and it was a really fun time. So then once that happened, I'm like, okay, I'm really into powerlifting. These lifts were fun as fuck. Planet Fitness don't have squat racks, free weight bench presses, free weight barbells, whatever. It's time to switch gyms. So then I switched gyms. I switched to Crunch Fitness, and they had the squat rack. They had the dumbbells going up to 125, I think, instead of 75, which is huge. But once I moved, I obviously incorporated the squat, bench, deadlift to my workout routine. So it was, the first time going there, it was a leg day, of fucking course. I ended up doing my squats that I did. I put on the weight that I did already during the powerlifting season. So I did that, and the squats, they felt all right. I had already purchased a belt during the whole powerlifting season. I was just using other people's belts, but now I've bought a belt just so that I can go heavier and I can brace, right, get the core going and have everything more stable. So I did that, and it was good. The first leg day was good, and I wasn't just doing squats. I was incorporating Bulgarian split squats, which I always avoid, RDLs, and hip thrusts. I never did those before, so I tried to I went from one extreme to the other. I went from machines only. Now I'm trying to only be functional with all these like free weight movements. So train movements, not muscles, by the way. But yeah, I did that, and same thing with the pull day with the deadlift. Same thing with the push day with the bench press. All this stuff, and it was going good for a couple weeks. But then yesterday came, and it was a leg day, and I felt good going in. But at this point, I had already, felt a little like weird tightness or kind of weird feeling in my left knee already. And it all started from doing squats. And I'm like, what is this weird feeling? It feels like it wants to, feels like there's a knot, like it wants to pop or it wants to do something, but it's not. And it was feeling weird, but there was no pain. It was zero pain, no swelling. I still could squat normally and stuff perfectly. So, I just went and did the squat, 210 for 7 reps. And, I do 3 sets of that. I did the first 2 sets normally. Then the third set came. And then I did 1 rep, 2 rep, fine, 3 rep, fine. But then that fourth rep was what caused this huge thing. It changed everything for me now. And it's still affecting me, obviously, the next day. And it was that fourth rep. When I, was ready to take it, I went down slow. And then all of a sudden, I think it's because, I'm going to be honest, I think it was because I went a little lower than I should have. You're not going to be perfect with the same exact range of motion every time. I mean, it's human error, right? So I went a little lower than I should have. And then when I was at the exact lowest point of the movement, while on my way to get up from that point, my knee buckled. My knee popped or something happened. It might have shifted or twisted a little bit, and it hurt immediately. And while I was on the way up, I was just thinking, oh, fuck, what did I just do? Oh, shit. I don't know if I can do another rep. So then I just re-racked it. And then all of a sudden, I was limping around. I was limping around the fucking gym, and I'm like, no, I can't ruin my leg day, man. Leg day's too important. I was feeling so good. I was ready to crush it. But then I started limping like an idiot. So I then tried to finish out the workout, RDLs, blah, 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 and it was not much success. I started half-assing the rest of the exercises. Stuff didn't really hit. I didn't feel the stimulus like I was supposed to. And I just left the gym with a shitty mindset. So, yep, that happened. And apparently it's some sort of tear or, I'm trying to think. It was I can't remember the name because I'm recording right now and I'd have to look it up, but it's some sort of tear in the knee. Something syndrome, something meniscus tear or something like that. Now it's swollen as fuck, and I can barely walk. I can't really bend it. It's basically useless. I'm a vegetable right now, and I'm recording this video anyway. It's just unbelievable, man. All because I had shitty form, probably. And I had this shitty form because my knee had to, do a lot of the work because of my weak hips and glutes. There it is. And guess what it was caused by? Video games and being inactive for years and years. In terms of my recovery process, just resting, not trying to aggravate too much. I didn't even really want to record this. I didn't even want to do nothing. But because of how I am now, I feel guilty playing video games. I feel guilty not doing YouTube or any work that I'm supposed to. I just have to do it. And that's why I came here to record this video. They say to put ice and compression over the knee because it's swollen for like 20 minutes at a time, 3, 4, 5 times a day. I'm going to try and do that, see how that feels. But, the day after the injury started, it actually feels worse than when it first happened. Like, at least when it first happened, I was limping around, but then at the end of the session, I was still able to do incline treadmill. But now I can't even really walk. Like, it's the point where I got to grab onto any sort of furniture just to be able to walk around, or hopping with one fucking foot. I mean, I've hit rock bottom here. I'm a vegetable. I can't really do shit. And it's literally the week before school. We're almost at 200 subscribers. It couldn't have been a worser time to have this. Of course, right before fucking school, I have to deal with this. Who knows how I'll feel on the first day of school? Hopefully, I can walk, because going in with crutches is gonna be embarrassing on the first day. But we'll see. I'll let you know. I'll keep you updated. I'll even freaking post on the community tab, like, stuff I'm going through in my recovery process. But yeah, the recovery is just resting, obviously. But in terms of what I'm gonna do in the future, once this kind of like recovers, I'm gonna go right back to squatting. Yes, I'm not gonna be a pussy and be like, oh, this injury happened while I was squatting. Let's blame the movement. Let's just do leg presses. No, don't bandage the problem. Fix the root of the problem. If you think that squatting is going to give you that issue, no, don't blame the movement. Blame your form. Blame something else, because I probably didn't have the best form. Maybe my knees, something obviously happened. Maybe my knees were too weak, or maybe they just caved in too much and I didn't realize, or maybe they kind of extended too much, or I went too deep, which I feel like it was in a way, but it's probably not the only reason. Don't bandage the problem. If your problem is form, fix the form. Don't just avoid the movement because your form stinks and you're going to blame, oh, it's a squat. That's what did it. No, your form is what did it, not the fucking squat. The squat done properly is the king of all movements. There's a reason Tom Platz and a bunch of other guys say that the squats are the king, and I believe it. It's literally a whole body movement. It's not just a leg press where you're pushing a thing with your legs and with all the stability and stuff. That's not how real world activity works. Squatting is a foundational human movement. So if you wanted to gain the most muscle, especially in the legs, but also just kind of the whole body, because squats produce more testosterone since it's hard, please do the squats. Please. If you want tree trunk legs, do the fucking squat. All right. So my lesson out of all this is play a sport, please. Play a sport. Get your ass out there. It involves entertainment and health. You get the best of both worlds. Video games is just entertainment, not with the health aspect, obviously. Just do a sport. You'll feel way better. You'll have more fun in school. You won't have this problem. And then secondly, limit if you're gonna do video games, which do it, especially if you're a younger kid, you should still do video games, but keep it limited to like 3 hours a day max. Do not do 6 to 8 hours, because for me, as I got older and older back then, I started playing more and more games, and then now I'm at the point where I barely play. I'm doing YouTube content creation as a hobby now, no games. So yeah, just limit it, and then you'll get that. You'll still get to play, but it will be way less. You'll balance it with sport, and you'll be way healthier. And then the third last thing is watch videos on stuff like this. Learn outside information. What you should not do is play 8 hours a day and combine that with bad diet, constantly being inactive, and just sitting there wasting your life. Basically, you're leveling up in a fake video game. And I get video games. It's a way to escape life. It's a way to have fun because you're a kid, and that's why I say you should still do it, but just limit it, man. Limit it so that way you don't go overboard it. I mean, how many hours do you really need playing freaking games? I mean, what, to level up get to the next level, to get the next achievement if you're an achievement hunter, to play with your friends for hours and hours because they got the same mindset too. They just want to play. They got nothing else to do. I'm telling you, if you balance your life I know you're young and it's hard to kind of drill this in, because once you're like my age and 20 years old and stuff, that's when the self-improvement mentality really comes in. But if you can develop this mindset now early on, especially if you're only 14, 15, 16, 17, even 13, it's going to be so beneficial for you, man. It's going to be so beneficial for you, because you'll just be ahead of others. You'll have that flexibility. You'll have the mobility. You'll have more strength. You'll be healthier. You'll have shit dialed in already. And you can just get to your goals quicker. You'll have higher testosterone, have more drive to do things because of all the good habits. You'll literally just get ahead. Being ahead of another person by a few years is a huge deal, especially if you want to become successful in any way and have a lot of money. It's the earlier you start, the better. Why do you think all these guitar players or all these kind of musicians or certain things started early playing the guitar? 7, 10, 12, 14, all early ages with instruments. And that doesn't mean that, if you play an instrument at 20, if you start at 20, that you're not going to be anything. You still could be something, but you just got to put in the work. You got to catch up to all the people that started way earlier. And that's kind of how it is with me. I started very late getting into activity, and now I gotta pay the price because of all the years of inactivity before. Now I gotta play catch up. So right now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I still can't bend down and touch my toes. Still can't do it. I can't demonstrate now because of my fucking knee. But if I were to do it on camera, it wouldn't happen. And I think it's gotten a little better over the years. Or over the past couple years, because of just going to the gym. And now we'll start getting a lot better, because guess what? I'm now finally doing Romanian deadlifts, RDLs, which train that exact portion. It trains the exact movement of bending down and kind of reaching to your toes. That's what a Romanian deadlift is. You're obviously not going to be able to bring the bar all the way down to your toes, but just the motion of bringing it down kind of close to there in general, it's going to really help, and it's going to strengthen your glutes and your hamstrings especially, and just making those glutes activate more, making them fired up, because if they're not activated well and if they're weak, the knees are going to have to do more of the work. And I've literally felt this. You can't prove me wrong. I've felt this. So, it's just, I should have started early with this, man. I should have did it early instead of doing seated hamstring curls, which they do isolate the hamstrings well. It's still not a movement. It's just an exercise. Remember, train movements, not muscles. The RDLs train the hamstrings and glutes in a more lengthened position. The seated hamstring curl trains it in a shortened position. So if you can't reach your toes, and if you're struggling with flexibility, especially that, please do RDLs. That's literally the best way to do it. Man. So, do you want to stay being a video game addict loser when you're 22, 23, and you're getting out of college and you're still fat with freaking video games all around, just sitting there collecting dust while you can't bend down, touch your toes, and be an actual healthy human? Do you want to still be that when you're 22, 23? When I'm 22, 23, I'll be freaking flexible. Hopefully, I'll be moving around. I'll be trying to get some success, this and that, all these other guys around in your same area, and you're gonna just be sitting there playing video games still all day, every day at 22, 23. Like, come on, man. I know that's not what you want. So please don't go for that. I got another video on how I just built muscle in general in high school, and stuff that I did. I went very in depth with everything I did to build muscle in high school with my diet and everything. So check that out if you want more information on the fitness side of things. Also, if you want a starter pack kit for your goals and fitness and all things self-improvement while being a teenager, please check out my Beast Mode starter pack in the description below and in the pinned comment. It's just a starter pack kit that will help you with a bunch of things, especially if you don't know what you're doing. It's all free. It's on a Google Doc. You can check it anytime. Blah, blah, blah. It's always being constantly updated. So whenever I think of new, better things or things to replace old data with, I'll put it right in there. You'll just check it out. So make sure that you frequently check it, because who knows, maybe you can miss out on good information. But yep, that's the problem with video games nowadays. And if you're a teenager watching this, please listen. Please. I'm trying to save you the aggravation of 2 big fat fucking injuries, alright, that can hinder your gains. It's going to hinder my gains. I'm not going to be able to train lower body for who knows how many weeks or days because of a fucking injury. So If you listen to this the whole way through, I really, really, really appreciate it. I'm just trying to help you all out here. And if you want to see more content, smash that subscribe button. Put a like on the video if you liked it. Don't like it if you don't like it. And put in the comments below if you've had any injuries or if you are a video game addict. Anyways, see ya.